Hello Leo, welcome to this reading. My name is Zane and we're going to be taking a look at the current energy for the sign of Leo for the week of May 23rd. Now Leo, do keep in mind that this is a general reading, so take the messages as they resonate, drop the ones that do not, and also check out your sun, moon, and rising signs. Now I do not offer personal readings and I will not send you a message on any platform, so do not get scammed. Let's go ahead and see what we have going on here for you, Leo. Now I am using the Tarot Muka deck as well as the Angel Answers Oracle deck. There are links to both of these decks in the description below. And also do consider hitting the like button and subscribing. Really does help with the channel, with the growth of this channel, and hitting the like button does ensure that other people who may need to see this message have an opportunity to do so. All right, so let's go ahead, let's make sure everything is in view here, Leo. Also take 3 of these oracle cards here, and we'll put that up there. All right, Leo, so taking a look here, so 4 of the 5 initial cards are swords cards, okay? And remember that, like, all cards have positive and negative meanings. It really just depends on like how you view the world, how you view tarot. Are you a glass half full or a glass half empty type of person? And so just keep that in mind as I read these first 5 cards. Now, if you've never watched one of my readings before, we always go up the pyramid here and we always clarify with more messages, but there is something here. So now that I've said that, there is something here that is potentially breaking your heart. And, you know, it's hard to say if this is another person. It certainly could be. I think for some of you, this could be related to another person here, as we have 2 air signs showing up. But this could also be something that you are maybe. I always like to say that this could also be internal as well. And so let's go ahead and dive into this a little bit more. So right away in the middle, you do have this Knight of Swords card. So the Knight of Swords, it asks you to take action. It asks you to charge forward on something in your life. This is a major energy of taking advantage of opportunities and seizing the day. So on one hand, I feel like, you know, for some of you here, this is important. There may be something in your life that you do need to potentially focus on. Swords in tarot can represent focus, intellect, logic, communication. You know, your thought process really is one of the bigger meanings of the swords suit. And so for some of you, you may be cleaning up your thought process, or you may be realizing that there's something that is not serving you. In you may have some thoughts here that are not serving you. You may have some negative thoughts, some negative self-beliefs here. And, you know, this Knight of Swords may say, hey, listen, like, let's throw those thoughts out and let's embrace some new type of energy. You could also quite literally be dealing with an air sign, okay? There's so many swords here. On the first 4 of the 5 cards are swords. And let's just dive into that a little bit more here. In the past, you have this King of Swords and the 8 of Swords. So the King of Swords is Libra energy. It is somebody who typically will give you a fair shot in life, okay? This is somebody who is extremely, honesty and integrity is extremely important to the King of Swords. This is the energy of divine law and order, right? And you may even see the King of Swords is typically not somebody who will take an emotional interest in you. In fact, they will help you get from point A to point B. They will help you make career moves. You have this here with this 8 of Swords, which is internal situations getting the best of you. The 8 of Swords is you being trapped in the imprisonment of your mind. Each one of these swords is surrounding this person, and the swords represents thoughts. A thought that is maybe trapping this person. And so we see this sort of narrative here building up around your thoughts and potentially the challenging role that they are playing in your life at this time. And so I think perhaps there is a situation here where it may be important that you put all of the facts on the table. Okay, you put all of the facts on the table and you look at things in a logical way. Okay, it's great to be intuitive. It's great to have a high EQ, emotional quotient. You know, it's good to have emotional intelligence. But you also, it's good to sort of balance out the IQ, the EQ. And for you, it's like you may be wanting to put everything on the table right now and take a logical look at what's going on. You know, are there just things that are not serving you going through your mind right now? I'm not trying to emotionally invalidate you, but it's almost like there's just something in there that's just not right or just not working. In the future, you have the Five of Wands and the Three of Swords. So the Five of Wands is a conflict, okay? There is maybe a conflict approaching between you and another person here, Leo. If you're still with me, this is one of the more challenging readings I've done for this week. I have to say the energies for this week are heavy, okay? They have been extremely heavy for this week. So the Five of Wands is a conflict. You can see that they are sort of sparring on the card here. It's also a card of competition, but you have this with the Three of Swords, which you can see is heartbreak, right? It's anything that breaks your heart. This could bring about divorce, separation, breakup into your life, certainly in love, but it could also just be anything, like I said, that is challenging to deal with. The thing is, you know, if I'm going to put a positive spin on the Three of Swords, emotional releases are ultimately good because we can finally be free of that situation. And many times when we go through like a dark night of the soul, for example, we figure out something that we don't want to be doing, or we figure out something about ourselves, and so forth and so on. And so it's like, there's no question about it. The Knight of Swords, something approaching, okay, something coming ahead here, something charging ahead here. And there could be a conflict approaching for some of you, particularly if you're in a relationship right now and you're just like, what's going on here? Like, I feel like there may be a sort of conversation that is had. I also think for some of you, this could be internal here, and you may just have it out with yourself and say, what's going on here, Leo? What do I need to understand? Particularly if you have like a Leo moon, maybe, because this is like emotions kind of being wrapped in here. Let's go ahead and see what else we have. So you have the Death card. You have the Five of Cups, my gosh. You have the Two of Swords. And you have the Ace of Swords. So sometimes, you know, here's the thing. If you've watched my readings before, you know that I don't re-roll. If I get a challenging reading like we have now, I post it. I'm not going to restart a reading because somebody here has to see this for whatever reason. This is somebody's message. And listen, you have this Death card in the past with the Five of Cups. There could be grieving. Okay, now I'm not forecasting this, and to be explicitly clear here, I'm not a reader who forecasts death and dying. This is in the past. Okay, so some of you may be grieving something that has already happened. All right, just to be very clear. And in fact, I never read the Death card as literal death and dying. If you've watched my readings, you know this. I read it as transformation, change and transformation, which is it's Scorpio energy. Which is really the definition of the Death card. However, you have it here with the Five of Cups in the past. You have it here with something, really locking you up internally here with the Eight of Swords. It could mean that in the past something has happened where some of you are going through a grieving process. I know what the energy of grief looks like. Okay, I do. And I feel the energy of grief here. And so I think for some of you here, there's a little bit of, there's something that you're going through right now. And some of you are absolutely going through it. And there's no other way for me to put it. That's the energy I feel here on the board. Now remember, grief comes in many forms. It does not always need, you can grieve losing a partner. Like if you break up with somebody or somebody breaks up with you, there can also be grief right there. Or, obviously if you lose a pet a beloved pet, cat or a dog or whatever, there's a big element of grief there as well. So it's like there's something here that's been challenging. Okay, you have this Two of Swords and the Ace of Swords, but there's also something that you're not seeing. Okay, if you are not grieving right now, Going back to this previous message with the Eight of Swords and the Two of Swords, there's something that you are not seeing because these are two cards of blindfold energy here. So it's like, is there some data that you need to pluck out? Like, there's a logical, like some of you really, there's like some type of logic that needs to be had here. I'm having a hard time explaining it, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 8 cards are swords cards. So that's a whole lot of air. That is a whole lot of logic. That is a lot of communication, okay? And I do think that things will begin to improve for you. You have this Ace of Swords in the future, which is why I feel that way. Ace of Swords is a new beginning. It is a victory that leads to a new beginning. It is breakthrough. It is triumph. It is the clouds clearing in the background. And so, like I said, right now, I think many of you, if you're resonating with this, you have not clicked off yet, going through something here. But I do think that the sun is coming out, the clouds are clearing here in the future for you. Let's go ahead and take a look at these 3 oracle cards. So you have Be Assertive, Peaceful Resolution, and No Need to Worry. No need to worry. I mean, listen, it's totally valid to have anxiety, have stress, when you go through something like grief. And so that's something that I feel like saying. It's totally valid to feel those emotions and to feel that energy. However, I do think you are coming to some type of resolution about how to work through something here in the future with peaceful resolution, no need to worry, and be assertive. Be assertive is you sticking up for yourself in this case, and particularly if someone broke your heart here. Let's go ahead and move up the pyramid. What a somber reading. We have the Six of Cups. We have the Justice card. And the Queen of Swords. I mean, Leo, what's going on here? I've never had a reading that has this much air in it because we now have the 9th sword card to come in, but we also have the Justice card, which you can see the sword. It is the card of Libra. And so it's like maybe some of you are dealing with a Libra. Maybe some of you are dealing with an air sign. I think probably very heavily here. Some of you could be dealing with a legal situation. The Justice card, you can see the scale. Justice card can refer to legal situations. It's the biggest card to find in terms of legal situations. And then you have this King of Swords, Queen of Swords, lawyer type of energy. Again, I think this is something that you're probably going through right now. I don't see this coming in the future. I think you're going through it right now. And the Six of Cups is about nostalgia. It is about you looking in the past and kind of reflecting on good times or reflecting on the times of the past. The Six of Swords card does ask you, or sorry, the Six of Cups card does ask you to stop and smell the roses though, and realize what is right in front of you, and realize that there's a whole world in front of you. And so I think, the Six of Cups in and of itself is a card of grief. You have it, especially when combined with the Five of Cups and a Death card. So I think that this is definitely something that some of you are dealing with. I also think that maybe there's an inheritance on the line for some of you here, as we have this legal energy that you may be dealing with. Let's see what else we have. We have the Fool and the Ace of Cups. So this situation will improve here. We have double aces showing up in the future positions with the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Swords. We also have the Fool energy, which is you connecting to your childhood self, or your child self is what I should say. Maybe you are connecting to childhood in some way, maybe an event that happened in childhood, maybe something that was kind of repressed or something like that. That could certainly be the case, the fact that I said that. But the Fool and the Six of Cups is connecting with your inner child and letting that side of yourself kind of come out and play a little bit. The Fool represents a new beginning in your life, but not just a new beginning, a powerful new beginning. And so it's like, for some of you here, as challenging as it may be, you're finding the way, you're finding the courage to leap forward and to continue moving forward ahead for yourself here. The Ace of Cups brings new love into your life. it's like maybe you're going through heartbreak right now with this Three of Swords, but along that path and along that way, you also find somebody, you meet somebody new. Let's go and see what is at the top of the pyramid here. You have the High Priestess. High Priestess is a way shower. The High Priestess is somebody who can really help you process emotions. It is like a traditional therapist. The Queen of Cups and the High Priestess are two cards that I would associate with therapy. Some of you may be doing that at this time. I'm not telling you, I'm not trying to force that on you, I'm telling you what's right or wrong, but some of you may be, reaching out to somebody for help. The High Priestess is also something that is hidden, something that you can't see. Shadow work maybe that you're dealing. You may want to Google what shadow work looks like. And most importantly, the High Priestess asks you to trust your gut and trust your intuition. If you feel like you need to know, if there's something that you know that you feel you need to do, I would do it. I can't tell you what to do, but that's coming in. And then, on the bottom here, you have the Page of Cups. Page of Cups was interesting. This is matters of love for some of you, and for others of you, it's a grief. But the Page of Cups is like, some sort of happy offer. It's some sort of like potentially love offer. Like I said, it's interesting because it's like, on one hand, you're dealing with this challenge here with the Three of Swords in the future, but you're also getting this Ace of Cups, Fool, Page of Cups, which is like a really playful type of energy and a really nice new type of relationship type energy. And so it's hard to say, but this is what I have. So this is a challenging reading, but like I said, I always post the readings that come in. And so thank you so much for being here. If you're still watching, hit that like button, subscribe. Really appreciate you. I'll see you in the next reading.